chill. Cameras rolling, it's all surreal. Who's the guest today? Who's the guest today? Record spinning, always winning. Rykus, Nemo, questions pinning. Andrew calls the shot, don't miss the frame. Hobby hooligan, what's your name?
What's up, Hobby Hooligans? Welcome to another episode of Ashtabula Hobby Talk. I'm your host, Rykus, owner of Captain's Comics and comic book enthusiast. And we're here in a new set with Nemo.
Hey, Hobby Hooligans. My name is Nemo, amateur radio enthusiast, president of Amigos Radio Club, Ashtabula. And hey, we have a new set.
Awesome
We're in a new
set.
space, new studio, new space, some new equipment. And,
We upgraded dramatically.
Yeah. I think things are looking good, and I think we're gonna be happy with the new home here for a little while.
I'm comfortable here. This is what I wanted our set to be like.
Yeah, me too. It's going good. It's going good. Yeah, so it's been some work, and we've been working hard making it, and we're making improvements to the show every chance we get.
Yep. I had a production studio a while back, and when I left that, I tore everything down and put everything aside, and it's really cool to actually see the stuff set up and the way it's meant to be.
It is. And I wish I still had a lot of my production equipment left over from my production studio days, but unfortunately I had to get rid of a lot of it. But yeah, I'm glad that you were able to hold on to it. And
Yeah.
between the two of us with our backgrounds, we seem to be making this happen pretty good. Man, I don't know what to say about it all, but I'm glad we're here, and that's definitely something.
Right.
So we're making some improvements. Hopefully everybody who's watching appreciates that.
And we're heading into Thanksgiving, and I'm extremely grateful that this came together like it did.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And, it took a couple weeks to do, but we're here, and well, it was rough moving everything over into this space and getting it going, but we're here now.
And we got a really good lineup of guests coming on and to-go missions, and I don't know if we want to reveal any of that.
You know, all I'm going to say to that is we've got a bunch of people, and when people are, I know our regular viewers, they're like, hey, where's all the away missions? Well, some of not having those away missions was because we had to do this. We were making the new studio space and getting that together, and that took time. But those away missions are in the books, and we are ready to roll with those. So.
We're gonna hit the ground rolling. It's tough to book people and doing things around the holidays and
around our jobs too, because we both work full time. We both have 2-3 jobs, so there you go. Between the comic book store and your 9 to 5 and my farm and my 9 to 5, and then we still come here and we do this. But this is a labor of love, absolutely, and I enjoy doing it, and I'm glad we have the followers that we do.
Right, and I imagine once we get hit the ground rolling a little bit more in this studio space, we're going to get a lot more.
Yeah. Well, we've got. I know for sure. And without giving too much away, we're going to have right after Thanksgiving, our first in-studio guest is coming on, and we will make that announcement the week of who it is, and we'll get them in here too. And so we'll have 3 people in here with us. So that'll be awesome. But I think it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, we have some of our nice little stuff on our shelves here.
Some of our favorite things and things from past shows that we've been working on, been to and representing for,
and I think I like to think of our set's going to be like a fluent changing as we get different people on it, and you're going to see stuff on the shelf that is going to look familiar from shows that we do.
Absolutely, because I think we started the groundwork with that with this guy right here from DMG Scale Models. He made this for me some time ago, and putting that up there, and that sort of symbolized like him being on the show, and but I didn't have a good spot for them at home.
Yeah.
So this is perfect. This works out just fine. So yeah, we'll make it better as we go along.
I look forward to having him back on the show sometime too.
Yeah, he finished another car already.
He's so fast.
We'll try and get him on that red Corvette thing or whatever it was that he was working on. He's done with that already. He sent me pictures of it. So maybe we'll get him back on another week or two to talk about that, or just go check out his channel.
Right.
DMG Scale Models on YouTube. And
Oh, speaking of other people's channels, we made a guest appearance.
yeah, we did Monday. We made a guest appearance on John with Jack. He's a tabletop RPG channel, and man, a 2-hour long form podcast.
I feel like I feel like I got a lot more to say about gaming.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
I think we only scratched the surface a little bit on that.
We kind of went all over, because we talked about comic books and we talked about radio. We kind of introduced his audience to those things.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, they gained some interest, and we gained some interest from them. And
I have a long history of gaming.
yeah,
And I went through several games, and one game with me and my friends played for a long time. And I mean, it's just, we try to keep it going, but it's tough.
I haven't been involved in a good tabletop RPG in probably 10 years now, if not a little longer. But man, I do miss it. It's a good hobby to be in.
Absolutely.
Keeps them kids off the streets. Absolutely. So,
And if you guys want to know more about gaming, jump on over to John with Jack.
yeah, absolutely. He has some really good guests on there. And a lot of them are game developers, independent game developers. Some of them are just guys that run their own games on the side. Yeah, good hobbies. That's the whole RPG thing is a whole hobby with a lot of sub niches in it. Just in general. And I'm glad we were able to talk about that a little bit on our show when we had him on a month or two ago. And I'm sure we'll bring him back on the show in the near future here.
Yep. And just last weekend, me and my friends played Star Wars Legion. You ever heard of that one?
No, is that
Think of
tabletop?
Yep. Think of BattleTech, but you're playing each individual character. You have like Leia. My friend had Princess Leia out there on the battlefield, and they're just small little guys. And you use like a measuring to guide how far you can go. And
Okay.
it's
So do you get walkers, AT-AT walkers, and
actually there wasn't that on a battlefield.
okay, and the land speeders, or not land speeders, but the motorcycles.
Yep,
Things,
the speeders.
speeder bikes. Yeah,
Yeah, we didn't have those in the game, but I imagine they're still in there.
TIE fighters is that part of it too? All that.
There was a TIE fighter that was destroyed on the ground. We used it for shelter.
Hey, you got to make use of what you got.
Yep.
So it's sort of like a tabletop version of Battlefront, then maybe.
I don't know Battlefront, but the closest thing I can think of is BattleTech.
Okay.
You have your mechs.
Well, there was a video game that came out some time ago, and it was Star Wars Battlefront, and I played.
Oh,
it.
that Battlefront. Yeah.
that's what it was.
Okay.
So it's sort of like a tabletop version of that.
A little bit.
Okay, very cool. I'd be into that.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's I don't know if you ever heard of Star Wars Armada.
I have heard of it. I haven't played it.
Armada's the bigger spaceships.
Okay.
The Death Star and the Star Destroyers and
Gotcha.
things
So
like
more
that.
like Starfleet battles then.
Right.
Okay.
So that is almost the same thing as Star Wars Legions, but Legions is more of a microscopic. You're downscaling to
on
the guys.
character level rather than on the big. Gotcha.
And a few years ago, me and my friends played Star Wars Armada. We had two different levels with a glass so you can see down below. We played Star Wars Armada on the top and Star Wars Legions down on the bottom.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if you remember the Star Wars where they're trying to send the rebels were on the planet trying to send up the stolen blueprints.
That was Rogue One, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that we played out that whole scenario. We had to destroy the shield so that we can send up the map, the details. So there's a battle going on up here and a battle going on down. It was really epic.
I'll tell you one of the games that came off of Star Wars that was my favorite was it's not a tabletop game, but it was Star Wars Legos, for the game systems. I played that forever, over and over and over again.
It seems like Andrew's a big fan of that.
It was I actually kind of liked all the Lego games, but the Harry Potter ones weren't as cool as the Star Wars ones, but yeah, I liked them all.
I tried to get into Star Wars or the Lego games. My kids love them, but
The Star Wars one was the best. The Star Wars
Yeah.
series is the best. I have them all still on my console system at home.
I've been trying to keep up with the Marvel Lego movies, and they just pump them out a lot, so it's kind of hard for me to keep track of
It's
them.
easy to do now. I mean, once you've got the character development down, or the graphics down for the character development, what do? They just slap in an AI and say
Yep.
do it. I remember when all the computer graphics stuff started coming out, and they made Toy Story a long time ago, and I think it was each frame of that movie took like 3 or 4 days to render. It was a long time,
Yeah.
and now they're spitting them out in minutes.
Me and my friend were thinking about getting into stop animation. We just never had the time.
Stop animation. There was a YouTube channel a long time ago that had a really cool GI Joe stop animation. He used a bunch of GI Joe figures. It was called Covert Operatives, and
Yeah.
and he made like a 20-minute video of stop animation out of GI Joes. It was great.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting into that, just to make like a quick 15-minute scenario or something.
Stop animation has been an art form that's been around for a long time.
Yep. I wouldn't mind getting somebody on that does that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And Legos. Legos is a great hobby.
Legos is an awesome hobby.
Maybe if we can find like some Lego master out there. What do they call it? Brick masters?
Brickmasters? I
brick
guess
master?
that's what they call them.
Master builder.
builders. Okay, maybe that's what it is.
Maybe we get a master builder on.
So, anything going on in the comic book world?
X-Men, the animated series, X-Men 97.
Okay.
They just now released a trailer for season 2.
All right.
And we're getting at least 10 new characters, and I was looking through them, and I'm excited about it.
Are they good character?
Oh,
Good,
yeah.
strong characters? I know sometimes they release a new character and it doesn't really pan out, and then they do a
Mhm.
couple episodes and they throw them away or whatever.
We're getting into more of a modern age of characters, and I don't know if you know Kid Omega.
No.
But
That's-
Quentin Quire, he's going to be in the season 2, and that's going to be epic.
All right. Very good.
He's Omega level. So yeah, I'm going to be kind of curious to how they're going to throw him in the mix.
So something to look forward to in the comic book world.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Man, I tell you, I wish I had, there's only so much time in the day. I get a couple hours to check things out. Like I said, I've been binge watching the whole Walking Dead series.
You've been doing that for a while.
Yes.
Holy
as a matter of
cow.
fact. Well, I had binged watched the first season or the first series, and then I binged watched the Daryl Chronicles, whatever you call them. Daryl and Carol went overseas, and I actually pretty much liked that one. I thought that one was actually too short.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was short, sweet, like, couple seasons long.
I actually met Norman Reedus once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool.
It wasn't from Walking Dead. It was Boondock Saints. Him and his co actor.
Yeah, that I like that movie a lot. That was a good movie.
I think they're hitting some kind of anniversary.
Yeah.
That movie's been out for a while.
So I'm about I don't know, I want to say I'm about 3/4 through Fear the Walking Dead now. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. There's some very unrealistic stuff in there, but it's sci-fi film, post-apocalyptic fantasy stuff, so I get it. One thing I will say about it though is I had read somewhere as I was in the middle of watching the first series, that that a bunch of them folks that did the production on the production side, not so much the actor side, were
Mhm.
big fans of the Fallout series, of the Fallout games, and that was before they started the Fallout series on Amazon there.
I seen some trailers for that. That looks like a really cool show.
I watched the first season of that.
Is it good?
It's some people, it's got mixed reviews, but I think it's good. I think it's true enough to the original heart of the story. But they were saying that those production guys were actually trying to, not 100%, but they were heavily influenced in developing the world around The Walking Dead by the Fallout series. And I'll say in the first series, the actual Walking Dead series, I didn't see that so much, but in the Fear the Walking Dead series, once you get past the second season ish, you could see it there. Absolutely.
Have you ever read the comic?
No.
Oh, I've read the comic book before the show came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan of the comic book. Robert Kirkman was always been one of my favorites since he hit the ground rolling with Battle Pope. Yeah, I think it was Battle Pope.
Okay.
Strange comic, very strange, unique. But he did Walking Dead, the comic book, and it was really cool. Unlike in almost any other comic book that was coming out at the time. And the TV show is not like the comic book. They're very similar in a lot of ways, but I mean, he has new characters in for the show. The comic book goes different directions. I don't want to give any spoilers, but
Sure. Well, there's always creative license with the film adaptation, the cinema adaptation from a book. I think the only movie I've seen that was word for word, so to speak, the book was The Outsiders. Have you ever read that book and seen that movie?
sure.
I think that's the only one that I could say is pretty much 100% word for word, scene for scene, exactly what the book was. So when I see a movie and I see the guys who are, oh, it's true to the book, it's not true to the book. This, I don't get into that
Mm-hmm.
so much, not because I understand the creative license there that's required behind that. So it's to me, that's not a big deal.
Well, usually the books and the TV shows or movies, they have different medias, so they don't. You can get away with a book going in one direction, but you're trying to film that is almost impossible.
Right.
And that's a lot of what reasons that the superheroes and comic books have a hard time making it to the screen is because they don't look great in tights or like a cape. It just doesn't look practical in the real world.
No capes.
But a really good comic book that's scene for scene and word for word is Sin City.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I should check that out because that's something I haven't watched.
The art style, everything is very unique. They just ripped the pages out of the comic book and just threw it on the screen.
Well, then I think maybe I've got my next binge watch show to.
Absolutely. Check it out.
I definitely am going to be looking for something here, probably before Christmas time to start watching. And I only get a couple episodes a night, but I do get a couple episodes a night, and then I get to go to bed, and then I wake up at 5 a.m. And
It's just another way for me to push the actor and director, Robert Rodriguez. I'm a big fan of his.
Okay,
Always have been.
Well, if that's who did it, then I'm going to have to watch him because I'm a Robert Rodriguez fan too.
Absolutely.
All right.
Check that out. It's Frank Miller is part of it too.
Cool. Absolutely. Man, I guess, so last night I had a couple people on the radio show. Oh, and I figured, I do the radio show on Wednesday nights.
Wednesday Night Joke Net on your
On-
YouTube channel.
Well, it's not just my YouTube channel. It's also local RF, so local
Right.
radio frequencies.
I can't watch it live. I have to wait for it to go hit
Well,
the
no-
YouTubes.
Nobody can watch it live right now. I don't stream it live.
That's what I'm saying.
because my internet connection at my off-grid farm is horrible.
You can listen to it live, but I don't have any radio yet.
You know what? I got a scanner. You can have.
Yeah.
I have a scanning system that should be programmable for you, and you don't need a license for a scanner. And we can figure out. It's got buttons, so like channels, and we
They
can
light
set
up?
that up. They light up.
I like buttons that light up.
It has buttons that light up, and I was looking for a good use for that. So maybe me and Andrew will sit down one day here, and we'll dust it off and get it going, and then you can listen live on Wednesdays at 8
cool.
o'clock. For those people who do know about amateur radio or do have scanners and understand how they work, currently we use repeater frequency 146.715. We're Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock on that repeater frequency. Anybody outside of the transmission area, basically like within 40 miles of Ashtabula County, can check in via an app on your phone called Echolink. You have to be a licensed amateur radio operator to use it, but it allows you to connect from your phone to remote repeaters that are Echolink enabled. So we actually have a guy who checks in from Canada with Echolink. We have a couple people locally around here that use the Echolink setup, but we actually have a guy. So you know where Hiram is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's quite a hop, but he checks in from Hiram, so that's on the other side of Ravenna. That's a good 70 miles away from here, and he does that just over the air with the radio antenna. So it can be done, but you know, my dad checks in on to that net, and he lives in Cleveland Heights, which is 70 miles away. There's a big hump between me and him, so getting that radio signal over is kind of tough for him. But so if anybody wanted to listen, that would be where to go find it. But I was thinking, you know, the cup here, the origins of the cup that we're giving away is every week I make reference to a movie or a television show, and I don't tell anybody whether they guessed correctly, but if you guess enough times at the beginning of the show or throughout the net what the show is that I'm referencing, then whoever guesses the most, I give them a cup. So that's where the cups come from.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
you know, I must warn you, I've watched a lot of movies in my time.
so yeah. So this week's one was this week's show was, oh, I don't remember now. Shoot, you'd think I would remember. It was yesterday. Old man syndrome coming in. So what I was thinking was I'd start announcing what the show was on this show. So
If you can remember.
If I can remember.
Maybe you can write it down.
It was, I can't remember. Now I can't. I'm going to have to write it down. I thought I'd remember. It was, man, and everybody who knows.
Anybody?
Oh, it was Life of Brian.
Okay.
That's what it was, Life of Brian. So we
Monty
did have.
Python.
Yeah, Monty Python. Actually, if you go back through and you look at like the posts from all those shows and you start watching those movies and those shows, there's some really good stuff in there. Because a lot of it's stuff I really like, and some of it's not so much, but most of it's stuff I really like. So last night's line was ladies and gentlemen and everybody who knows the to look on the bright side of life, and we did have a couple guys get it.
That's a good song.
So yeah,
I love the
absolutely,
song.
absolutely.
They started singing the song after
So that's
that.
what I do. I start the show and I say, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody who knows that you don't cry in baseball, you know, and then I just keep on going.
Was that Tom Hanks that said that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, there's no crying in baseball.
Yep.
So then, you know, as people are checking in and participating in the net in the radio show, they can guess the movie, and they can just throw that out there anytime. And I don't tell people. I close the net and I don't tell anybody. I just tell somebody at the end of the month, hey, you won, here's your cup. So I was thinking maybe I could bring that into this show a little bit and just maybe add that to the beginning of our show so I can let people know, because I have people that follow both. I don't know,
Be nice to have closure.
Yeah. Some people want closure. I don't know why, but
Driving people nuts.
yeah. So the other thing, I don't know, I don't want to dominate, but the other thing that we talked about on the show was something that we discussed on Jack's show. We were talking about the American Radio Relay League, and I know I've been fairly critical of them over the years because they are the lobbying arm for amateur radio operators, and I would like to see them do more. But there are a bunch of things that they have done for us, and I wouldn't mind touching base on that if we can.
Sure.
All right. Awesome. So recently, like in April of this year, the FCC, under the direction of the new FCC chairman, released a thing out there called Delete, Delete, Delete. He sent it out to basically all the amateur radio operators. And the whole thing was, so we fall under Part 97 of the FCC code. Part 97 governs all the amateur radio operators. That's where all our rules can be found. And they said, hey, what can we do to simplify what's going on? And the ARRL sent that out to all their members, to their credit, and brought their members' inputs back. And so now they're submitting to the FCC some pretty cool stuff. One of the things they're submitting is maybe getting rid of our ID requirements, because the way things are right now, if we're talking on the radio every 10 minutes or so, we have to identify our station. So, and commercial stations have to do that too. I think some of them are, television stations, all that. I think they're every 20 minutes, but we're stuck to every 10 minutes. So that's kind of would be kind of a cool thing. Some of the things that they're doing is expanding.
So how would that affect everything, though?
So
I know the radio stations I listen to, they do the call out, but if they didn't need to do that call out, wouldn't it be negative for other people to not know what they're listening to? It'd be like a radio jargons that's out there, and you just don't know what you're listening to because there's no label.
So the radio stations do it. I think theirs is every 20 minutes for a commercial radio station.
Right. I get why they do it, and I don't think that's ever going to change. They want advertisement, but the individual person that doesn't want advertisement, and if you're picking them up and you keep hearing this person, don't you want to know who that person is? Or
well, yes, you would want to know who that person is, and you would want to be able to pick them up.
So if you're not required to give that label out, isn't that going to be harder for people to?
Well, I think, proper radio etiquette would still bring you, it would still, so like when you're making contact with somebody on the radio for the first time, like for instance, if I was calling Andrew, I would go W8IJC KE8PVL, and he would know somebody's calling him because his call sign is W8IJC, and he would know that I'm the one who's calling him because I'm KE8PVL. So, in my opinion, that's the only initial contact is really kind of the only one that matters.
Sure, but that's between you and him, but it's a public radio, right?
Yes, it is all public.
So it's taking your guys' conversation into public. So if someone was just kind of flipping through the stations and hears your dialogues, they won't know. They can be listening for like hours and not know
who they're talking about. Yeah. So I think there should be some laxing in that, but I think every 10 minutes. Also, there's nothing stopping a person from jumping in, politely. So if you heard me and Andrew talking on the radio and you wanted to jump into the conversation that we were having, all you would have to do is announce your call sign over the airwaves during a break in our transmissions.
Okay.
And then whoever was next, either myself or Andrew, would pick you up and we'd say, oh, hey, comic book guy, come on in. This is W8IJC. And I'm with KEAPVL. And at that point, that would be him turning it over to me. And then I would say, oh, hey, comic book guy, glad you're here, KEAPVL.
Could I have
And
that
then-
handle, comic book guy? Could I
Sure,
request
you're
that?
you're actually allowed to have whatever handle you want. They don't care about that. There are some radio operators that are really goofy about that. They're like, your handle has to match your name on your license. No, there's nothing about that.
Okay.
You could call yourself whatever you want. You could call yourself, well, like there's a bunch of guys out there. You could call yourself, ham radio junkie or ham radio junkyard dog
All right.
or ham radio.
The sky's the
this.
limit.
Yeah. You can call yourself whatever
All
you want, but there, just understand that there is a database that's publicly accessible to everyone, and all AM radio operators kind of usually have that database up on their computer if they're at home and talking to you. So when they hear your call sign, the very first thing a lot of them are going to do is punch that in, pull your information up on the database, and then kind of see who you are. Some of that is just so that they can make sure they're appropriately logging the contact and making sure that your information is correct in their database, because
Right.
the radio operators keep their own logs.
So I'm still kind of new to the radio thing. I don't know a lot about it, but you're given referencing to, okay, so you got a conversation going on between you and Andrew,
Mhm.
and you're saying anybody can pick up, but you're going to give me a scanner which I can listen to, and I won't be able to communicate to. How many people are going to be like me where I can just listen to, and I won't be able to figure out what I'm listening to without responding to it?
That's a good question, because, and I say that because, so when I start the net and the show, whatever you want to call it, on Wednesday night, I start it by saying exactly what we do, because when you take over the airwaves for a specific purpose like that, you're declaring that.
Right.
So when I pick up the microphone, I'm asking, is anybody on frequency? Does anybody need the frequency? We're going to run a net here. And nobody comes back, and I pick it up again, and I say, okay, as far as I'm concerned, this frequency is clear. And if it's on HF, local on the repeaters here, we kind of know who's going to be using it. Everybody knows the schedule. You know what I mean? But on HF side, on the AM sideband side, that's going to be a little different. So you might want to ask a couple times just to make sure, and you may even want to listen for about 10 or 15 minutes beforehand just to make sure too, because atmospheric conditions can change, and what you hear in right now might not be what you hear in 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So
There's that much of a lag?
no, it's not lag. It's just atmospheric conditions. That's a whole other rabbit hole. We can go down that a little later, but so let's just stay.
Let's
local.
go down that next episode.
Okay. So yes, as far as only being able to hear and not being able to participate, we've actually gotten members, not just of our radio club, but of the net. The guy from Hiram, as a matter of fact, he started joining our net many years back. We've been running for a little over 4 years now. He started checking into our net because he lives close to a repeater that is on the same frequency, but so he's on like the border line between two repeaters that are on the same frequency. So he hears our repeater, and he tried for like months. He was trying for months to get in, and he couldn't because it was too far away. Finally, one day he got somebody to come over and add another 10 feet to his tower, and all of a sudden he punched in. So he was checking in, so he could hear us and couldn't respond. Same thing happens with scanners. I know for a fact that I think I have 3 people right now that listen via scanner, and I know that for sure, because when I'm talking about things that interest them, I'll see their comments either on our Facebook page for the show, or they'll text me directly because they have my number. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it works out pretty good, interesting. But they're scanner listeners. That's what they do.
Okay. So going back to the call sign every 10 minutes, they're getting rid of that.
Well, I don't know.
They're going to be more
whether
lax
they're
on
really
it.
gonna get rid of that, but maybe they'll break it down to like every half an hour or whenever an initial contact is made.
And what's your How do you feel about that then?
I think that would actually be a pretty good idea
Yeah.
because people forget. You get a guy on there. He's an old guy. He's 80 years old, 70 years old, and he gets on there and he talks and talks and talks, and that's just the way it is. So, I think every half an hour or so should be good. So they're gonna do some band updates too. It looks like, but all that stuff that I'm talking about is all recommended from the ARRL, and that's something that they did. They also, kind of defended for what we would call, it's the 900 megahertz band. And earlier this year, there were satellite companies that were trying to take over that band and claim primary user on them, and they were causing interference on the ham radio frequencies. But we used that specific band for emergency services stuff. So the ARRL got involved in that and helped defend that, and also on the 10 meter side too, because there were some business applications that were trying to butt right up against the 10 meter band, which is close to the CB band, but they wanted the commercial space for it. So the ARRL did do some stuff to try and help with that too. So they do some stuff, and I just didn't want people to think that I am critical of the ARRL, because I think they don't do enough, but they do stuff. So that's just kind of what I was getting at.
I got a question for you. With hobbies changing a lot with technology kind of changes a lot, and it affected the comic book industry. We had everything went digital, so people are able to watch or read their comic books on phones and things like that. Movies, music, those got affected a lot lately because of mainstream. They're on streaming devices and things like that. And the movies are just not as dominant as they used to be. But in the world of radio, do you think technology is ever going to change it and advance it, or do anything more to it?
Well, it already is. But before I get into that, and I will get into that, let me just say that if they wanted people to show up at movie theaters, they wouldn't be charging $25 a ticket and $15 for a bucket of popcorn, and they would make the seats bigger. And I get it, they're trying to make money too, but
right.
And they would make sure that, well, I won't get into that part of it, but
the music too. I mean, you can't find a music store anywhere. CDs and things like that.
Yeah.
That was a major part of me growing up. I used to go from one music store to another. I was like music store
There were
hopping.
3 of them in the main shopping district of my area, Coventry Road, when I was growing up. There was Record Revolution, Record Exchange. There was, what I mean? There was another store that was like a bookstore that had some records in it. So yeah, I get where you're going.
I can talk to the younger generation about albums, and they're like, "What's that?" It's like it's accumulation of music that this band puts out at one time.
Yeah.
They don't have that anymore. They just mainstream a song.
But to answer your question about like the digital revolution affecting amateur radio, to be honest with you, and that's where, and then this will get into some of the dark side of the radio world, so to speak. That's where all the gatekeeping is. It's all there's a lot of old guys that don't want to handle older hams, that don't want to handle the newer stuff that's coming out there. But the reality is, amateur radio was one of the first people to launch a satellite into space that had AI. I mean, seriously, because if you look at all the things that we can do as amateur radio operators, and launching our own orbital satellites is something we can actually do. Now, we have to jump through all the same hoops that everybody else has to jump through to launch an orbital satellite. But we were able to launch an orbital satellite like 2 years ago with built-in AI to act as a relay mechanism and as a reporting device for atmospheric conditions. I don't remember all the details off the top of my head.
How cool is that?
Yeah. So that's really cool. And as far as like the digital stuff goes, so there's FT8, and FT8 is, I'm not into FT8. I'm a voice guy. I like to talk on the radio. I get that. FT8 was originally developed as just a contact monitoring thing, like, hey, like a tagging thing. Like I can reach out to you and tag you and say, hey, here I am. Here's my call sign. This is where I'm from. And then you respond to me with the same information. And that's all the information that can really be passed back and forth. It has progressed since then. And there are version FT8 communication modes that will allow you to actually pass real information back and forth, but it's completely digital. So it's like sending modem transmissions over the airwaves. When we were talking about baud rate limitations on Jack's show last week, that's one of the things we were talking about, because, you know, we're not limited to I think it was 300 baud or something like that before. We've got much wider spectrum that we can use now. So more information gets transferred faster. But the biggest, coolest thing about FT8 was that you could do, so there's a thing that we refer to as ground floor noise level. And ground floor noise level is basically the signal is strong enough that you can hear it over the background noise of everything that's going on. So when you turn your radio on and there's a certain amount of static that you get, and you can you can tune that out or squelch it out as we call it, so that only more local or more strong, powerful stations can hear it. What FT8 does is it allows you to hear below the noise floor. So you could, with a 5 or 10 or 15 watt station, actually make a contact in Australia, actually make a contact in Russia. So that's kind of what the really cool thing about FT8 was. People saw FT8, the older guys, older generations saw FT8. They're like, oh, that's not radio. So there's some of that. But the same thing happened with things like Echolink and I can't remember what the other big one. Not just digital voice. I hear you on that one, but there's another big meeting one that you can use. That's it's GRMS or GMRS started doing it too. Chat groups of some kind. I don't know, but there's a couple other digital modes out there, and people were like, oh, that's not radio. If it comes out the antenna somewhere, it's radio. So that's kind of the way I see that.
Right.
So yes, and that's what all the kids want to see. You start looking at people, and I say kids, but in reality, people under 30. That's what I was saying when we were talking about our numbers falling last week on Jack's show. I don't think our numbers are falling because more and more people are picking up those digital modes and using them, and less people are using voice, just straight voice modes. And that's not reflected in, again, this goes into one of my criticisms of the American Radio Relay League. They don't focus. They do sponsors youth stuff, but they don't focus enough on the youth stuff that the youth would be interested in to bring them on board and train our replacements.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with that. But yes, okay. The technology, a lot of the things you do today, email, RTTY, all that kind of stuff, RSS, all that stuff has its backbone in amateur radio, to be quite honest with you.
I see that. I can see that.
So yeah, the technology's there, but it's just been like that. I'm sure it's like that with a lot of hobbies. The new thing comes along, and all the old guys are older people who've been in it for a while, or no, I'm not about that, and then the new people come in, and this is the way it is now. So
comic books, almost any hobby, I can see that the older hobbies more so.
Yeah. One of the biggest things that ARRL is doing that I really want to mention is that they're really pushing the Amateur Radio Emergency Preparedness Act, and that is something I think everybody should go out and take a look at and support. It's probably my favorite thing that they've been doing as of late. We've had a big problem with HOAs over the years. HOAs like to think that they're above FCC regulation. FCC regulation says that we're allowed to put our antennas up and allowed to put antennas up for use, generally speaking, because we're part of the emergency services backbone in the country. And the HOAs have, every time somebody tries it, they try and put them down. So there's actually legislation going through Congress right now, and that's what it is. It's the Amateur Radio Emergency Services Preparedness Act that basically will tell HOAs and other regulators that they're not allowed to stop us because like I said on the last show, when the hurricane went through North Carolina and Tennessee last 2 years ago, it was amateur radios on donkeys, amateur radio operators on donkeys that were out there doing the emergency responses before anybody from the government got involved. Same thing in Florida just a few weeks after that. And Florida actually has a strong amateur radio network that is part of the backbone of their emergency response systems. So when they get hurricanes, tornadoes, all that stuff going through there, the amateur radios are on site. When Katrina hit, and just to go back even further, it was the merchant marines and amateur radio operators that were doing most of the rescuing. And quite literally, the National Guard was just blocking the roads from people getting in and out of the areas. So that's kind of where it's at with the amateur radio operators. We come to the table when it's required. Even around here, we've got Perry, and we do a yearly drill, a yearly evacuation drill, in case something were to happen to Perry Nuclear Power Plant. Most of the amateur radio operators have participated in the area, have participated in that drill at least a couple times, so there's some idea of what needs to happen, and they do that drill every year in coordination with Perry and Geauga County and Lake County and Ashtabula County. People don't even realize it's happening because we just do it.
Right.
So there's a lot out there in the amateur radio field that we need to protect and keep going.
I remember our own drills that we were doing in school when Perry was, everyone was, we had a nuclear drill where everyone would hide underneath the desk. And
we had duck and cover.
Yeah. Because it was a nuclear power plant,
Right.
And I want to know how useful that would be if the Perry plant just got destroyed. If you hide underneath the desk, are you really that safe?
That's not that's not going to help you. If that was going to help us, that's not going to help us.
No. But we practiced that. We were in school. We're like, I guess they had to say something.
Well,
something's better than nothing.
I'm old enough to come from the duck and cover days, so absolutely. And then tornado, hide under your desk for a nuclear bomb, hide in the hallway for a tornado.
Yeah, I remember my class had to go into the boys' bathroom to duck and cover. That was kind of gross.
That's not a place I'd want to be stuck.
No.
All right. Well, so hopefully that answered your question on
very interesting
radio stuff.
Yeah. So, I have a few announcements and things.
Yeah, do them. Shoot them out.
So,
I'm looking forward to your contest.
Yeah. So our sweepstakes.
Are we doing it? When are we doing the drawing?
We'd like to do it at our shop, but if we have to, we'll probably do it on next Thursday show.
Not next Thursday because we're Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll do that with the in-studio guest that we're having on the 4th there, because December 4th is our in-studio guest.
Yeah, I'll have to look at my calendar. If we can't do it live on our show, then I would like to do it live at my comic shop.
We can do that.
Either way, I want to do it live on Ashtabula Hobby Talk.
Okay.
And we're going to pull the drawing here.
We can do a location shoot up at the comic book shop.
And for you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, we got the first appearance of Punisher, Amazing Spider-Man 129 in our store. We also got 121, The Death of Gwen Stacy. 2 very valuable comic books, very sought after, holy grails for, a large amount of comic book.
The Punisher one is definitely one I would want in my collection.
Yeah, it's
if I could afford it.
So we got those in our store, and I wanted to figure out a way to do it in honor of our 4-year anniversary at my comic book shop. And we did this sweepstakes where anybody that comes through our comic book store, through the door, they get a free ticket. They can put it into either one of them. I think I got some pictures up here. No?
Do we have
Okay.
pictures today?
It was the same
We
pictures.
did have pictures.
Okay.
Oh, line producer not prepared for the pictures.
Well, it was the same pictures that I had a few episodes ago. So go back and look at that. And also give another view for that show. So that'd be great.
Yeah.
But anybody that knows the first appearance of Punisher knows what that comic book looks like, and so
It looks like Punisher on the cover.
and they're in really good condition. I looked at them. There's a few blemishes. I mean, they're not mint, but I mean, and fair, and they present very well. So it's awesome. Get those comic books. Get a sweepstakes. Get a ticket. Come through the door. Every $20 you spend, you get another ticket. Put it in, and then we'll do the drawing here on Ashtabula Hobby Talk.
Awesome.
And 4-year anniversary sale. It's going to be a small business Saturday, right after Black Friday. We're going to have a liquidation. We're going to have a huge discounts on our store.
Oh,
Anything you want, just almost anything you want. There's a few exceptions, but
are you getting overstocked?
no, but I think we're going to have a big buy sale here soon after this,
Okay.
because we're going to get rid of a lot of stuff and we're going to need to make way for more stuff. So if you have like a large amount of comics books you want to sell, like preferably dollar comic books, or, just a bunch of commons or whatever you have, toys too, packaged toys. We need to redo our
Get
shelves.
some new inventory in there.
Exactly.
Circulate it.
Bring us stuff. Let us know what you got. And
Good idea.
also, if you have some toys that you don't want, we're doing a Toys for Tots. This helps out the kids in this community in Northeast Ohio,
Yeah.
preferably Conneaut, North Kingsville. It's going to help out this kids. Very local, very, very good to help out this community.
I've always been a big fan of the Toys for Tots drive. I always
Mhm.
try and throw a couple things in the boxes every year.
Well, we got a box stationed at Captain's Comics. It's got to be a brand new toy. It could be old, brand new, as long as it's packaged. Just drop it off and help the Toys for Tots out in this community.
All right.
And
It's
that's
good cause.
sponsored by the Marine Corps Reserve.
Awesome. Yeah. But good cause, good group of people to do it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, hey, we got one more thing. Of course, we're slowly climbing our way there. But when we hit,
I think when we
100.
hit, we're going to jump.
when
We're
we hit
gonna-
100 subscribers, somebody's going to win this. The 100 subscribers going to get this T-shirt. And I keep doing it. And he says it. The guy from DMG, Dan, DMG Scale Bottles, he said, this is the best promotional thing you can ever do. 'Cause look, we're at what, 27 episodes now? 26, right? Somewhere right in there. So this shirt, every week, it's a beautiful shirt. You're going to win it if you're number 100. Of course, you're going to win whatever color and whatever color printing and whatever size you need of this shirt. But every week, I take this shirt out and I just take it out and I barely even do this, and it's great material, barely wrinkles. And then I do this with it and I stuff it in the cup
That you can also win.
that you're also going to win, which is a limited edition Wednesday Night Joke Net mug, representing the old frequency that we used to be on just a few months back. We had to change frequencies because that repeater went down, and we just moved over to another repeater in the area. There aren't very many of these, so it's a collector's edition. You'll get this mug too. Actually, you'll get not this one, a new one, because I still have some in the package. So that's going to be our 100th, and then we've got a lot planned after that. Once we hit 100, we've got some really cool stuff that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, we've been planning some events out and some things with our Discord channel.
Yep. We haven't put a bunch of stuff out there yet. But
We're keeping that under wraps. Once we hit the 100, we're going to come out with all these new things that we have planned.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So, we're coming up to the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and a lot of the times in Northeast Ohio, this area, there's the first snowfall, there's a lot of accidents. So as we leave for this show, I just want everyone to be careful driving and pay attention to the roads. The new drivers out there, try to practice a little bit more in the parking lot or something when the snow falls, so you know how to handle your vehicle. Just stay safe on the roads. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I just put brand new tires on my vehicle for the winter time, and I'm really glad I did that. And I definitely recommend going out to a parking lot on a frosty, cold morning when it might be a little icy, and just driving around in an empty parking lot for a little while.
And who knows, it may save your life, and you can live on to do some more hobbies as you go.
Absolutely.
It's a way to preserve the hobbies, is being safe now.
Yep. And all right. Well, with that, I think we're going to wrap things up. So thank you, everybody, and hobby on.
Hobby on.